Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's talk about something we've all probably noticed. You know, those people who genuinely seem to enjoy their own company. Maybe you're one of them. Today we're going to dive deep into the anatomy of the solitary mind. What's really going on there, and what are the biggest misconceptions?
And really, this whole topic boils down to one huge, fundamental question. Is being alone the same thing as being lonely? It sounds simple, right? But trust me, the difference between those two is, well, it's everything. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll tackle the stereotypes. Then, we'll dig into the roots of solitude. After that, we'll really get into the nitty-gritty of solitude versus loneliness. And to wrap it all up, we'll look at the incredible power that can come from being alone.
All right, let's jump right in. First up, we're going beyond the stereotype. It's time to deconstruct the whole idea of the loner.
You know, when you hear the word loner, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's this picture of someone who's kind of isolated, maybe a bit sad, maybe even a little weird, right? It's a super powerful stereotype we see all over the place. But is it actually true?
Okay, so let's look at the myth versus the reality. The myth says that being alone means you're socially awkward, unhappy, that it's some kind of personal failure. But the reality? It's so much more nuanced. For a lot of people, it's actually a deliberate choice. It doesn't mean they're sad. It's just a complex psychological state, definitely not some kind of character flaw. So, okay, if it's not a flaw, then what's behind it? What are the roots of solitude? Why do some people actually prefer their own company? Well, as it turns out, there isn't just one simple answer. It really breaks down into three main drivers. The biggest chunk, about 45%, comes down to a core personality trait. Think introversion. Then you've got about 35% where it's a totally deliberate choice. You know, people who are prioritizing big goals or creative projects. And for the last 20%, it's often just life circumstances, like moving to a new city or having a super demanding job. So you see, it's never just one thing.
I absolutely love this quote. It just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? For introverts, being around people can be like a phone slowly losing its charge. And solitude? That's the charger. That's where they plug back in. So that alone time is an empty space. It's absolutely essential. It's not about avoiding people, it's about smart energy management.
And that idea of recharging brings us to what is, honestly, the most crucial distinction we're going to talk about today. This is the big one: solitude versus loneliness. Once you really get the difference here, it changes how you see everything.
So let's define our terms. What is solitude? It's simple, really. It's the state of being alone without being lonely. It's a choice. It's a positive thing you do for yourself, something that restores you. Loneliness, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It's that painful, aching feeling of being disconnected. And it's not a choice. This is exactly why you can feel incredibly lonely in a room packed with people. It's got nothing to do with the number of people in your life and everything to do with the quality of those connections. Let's just put these side by side. It makes it so clear. With solitude, the experience is chosen. With loneliness, it feels imposed on you. The emotion with solitude is peace, maybe creativity. With loneliness, it's pain and emptiness. In solitude, you feel in control. In loneliness, you feel a total lack of control. And the outcome? Solitude leads to rejuvenation. Loneliness leads to distress. I mean, it's a total night and day difference. Okay, so now that we've really nailed down that difference, we can move on to the fun part, our final section. The power of being alone. What are some of the hidden and kind of amazing benefits of choosing solitude?
Get this, some studies suggest that when you get into that deep, focused work, the kind you can only really do in solitude, you can be twice as productive. I mean, think about that. That's not a small tweak. That is a huge, game-changing boost to your ability to create and solve problems.
So how does that actually work? How does being alone lead to these big insights? Well, you can think of it as a three-step path. First, you get deeper focus, right? No distractions, just you and the task. That focus then leads to step 2, greater self-awareness. You actually have the space to hear your own thoughts. And from there, step 3, creative breakthroughs. Your mind is finally free to wonder, to connect the dots in new and surprising ways. And believe me, the benefits just keep stacking up. We're talking enhanced problem-solving skills, way better concentration, a much stronger sense of your own identity, and even less stress and anxiety. And here's a surprising one. It can actually increase your empathy for other people, which makes sense, right?
The better you understand yourself, the better you can understand where others are coming from.
So you see, getting a handle on all this isn't just some abstract psychological exercise. It really changes things. It changes how you see that quiet colleague at the office, or that friend who'd rather stay in on a Friday night. And maybe, just maybe, it changes how you see and value your own need for a little bit of quiet time.
So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. We live in a world that is constantly screaming for our attention, a world that just never stops talking. What do you think you could learn about your job, about the people you love, about yourself, if you chose to just listen?